Welcome back to our channel. This week we are going to take a little break from our adventure vlogs and we are going to do a breakdown of our van conversion costs.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. After this, we're going to be going on a road trip through New Mexico, where we bought our van, taking her home, and then into Texas. So you won't want to miss out on those fun adventures we find there. But like Emily said, we're going to hop into a breakdown of how much our van conversion costs. And if I had to describe our van, I would say it's fancy, affordable. So it kind of lives comfortably with a lot of nice amenities like some of the higher dollar builds, but we had a pretty thrifty mindset when we were building it and only really spent big money on the most important areas and saved money where we could in other places. So let's jump in and see how much this van conversion costs. So the van itself, we bought from a private seller on Facebook Marketplace, and we negotiated the price to $6,200, which we think was a pretty good price for, it was a 2010 Ford E-350 extended, and it has a fiberglass high top, which makes it just barely tall enough for me to stand, plenty tall for Emily to stand.
And it had like 154,000 miles on it.
Yep.
To begin with.
So we think $6,200 for the van was a pretty good starting price, but we quickly had to put some more money into it.
Yeah, so we kind of had a few costly like van repairs. The first one being it needed new tires and we wanted like beefy tires to put on it, so we got the Michelin Defenders, which was like a grand total of like $1,000 extra. Another thing was our van needed new ball joints, which was like another $1,000, and then there was other like little things that needed new brakes, needed like an oil change and like little things like that. So the grand total of the van repairs was $3,907.
Yeah, so right around like 10 grand once you include everything, just to get like the van kind of in good working order, so we were ready to do our conversion. So let's start with the solar and electrical. This is kind of one of the most expensive areas, but also most important for like our comfort, because we do a lot of work online, and so we need to be charging laptops, cameras, and then like running our computers, but also just comfort stuff like our lights and
our fridge.
Yeah, the fridge.
Water pump.
Yeah, so just comforts like that. But a quick rundown of what we have. Most expensive thing was the batteries. We have two Battleborn lithium 100 amp hour batteries, so total of 200 amp hours. We have a 320 watt solar panel on the roof. We have a 1000 watt pure sine wave inverter made by Xantrex, and an MPP charge controller made by Victron. Those are pretty much the big items there, and then everything else sort of adds up to the rest of that cost. But it's been pretty good. We live comfortably in the summer and the winter, collecting enough solar. Definitely helps that we spend a lot of time in the American Southwest, where sunshine is pretty abundant, so that helps. But the grand total for our solar and electrical is $3,495.
That's a lot.
All right, the next category is insulation. It's a little all over the map because we chose different types of insulation depending on where we're trying to insulate. The floor, we have XPS, extruded polystyrene, which is that like thin 1/4 inch like pink foam boards. We couldn't afford to lose much height in the van, so that's why we used that down there. Then in the walls, we used sheep's wool insulation from a company called Havelock, and that was good because our van walls have a lot of like weird holes and ribs and stuff, so it was nice to have something malleable like sheep's wool that we could kind of cut into the right shapes and then like slide them up and fit them into the walls. Then in sort of the small little areas, like these thin like borders around our doors and stuff, we use spray foam, the little cans of like the great stuff, gaps and cracks it's called. And then in our roof, we used poly iso foam boards, which are the big like foil-faced foam boards. So all those things together, the grand total of insulation for our van was $380.
And I would say if you don't have to like sacrifice floor space, our floor is always cold. So if you can add more insulation, you should.
Yeah, it could help, but we didn't have much room to give up in terms of height inside. And I forgot, in our window covers, they are Reflectix. We have that for all of our window covers. And then we also have sheep's wool in here. So it's Reflectix, a layer of sheep's wool, and then black fabric that we put over them. So that makes our window covers good for heat and for cold weather. Water break.
All right, so our next breakdown is our walls. We kind of split it into two different categories. One being like the unseen walls, and the second being our seen walls, which you can see right here. But our unseen walls are everything that's like below, like behind our like kitchen, under our bed, and that we just use like 1/4-inch plywood. I think we put like a layer of paint on top of it. And then for our like seen walls, we used like a rustic shiplap. Just got it from like Home Depot, and we really like the feel because it kind of makes it look like a rustic cozy cabin.
Yeah, it's got a good tactile feel to it.
And then the last thing is we kind of just used a blackout curtain to keep the like front cab from the back. And it kind of like keeps the heat out or the cold out, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But it was a really easy project to kind of like keep the cab away from the back half. And so the grand total of the walls is $232.
All right, so the next category is our ceiling. We used cedar planking. It's only a 1/4-inch thick, so that was another thing that helped us save sort of interior headroom in here, but it also looks and smells great. We're pretty used to the smell, but still when people come see our van, a lot of times they're like, whoa, that smells amazing, but we almost don't notice it anymore. But it was really strong when we installed it first.
We were kind of worried at first. We're like, this is really strong.
Yeah.
But it's kind of mitigated.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. We have a blog post on our website that describes how we installed this ceiling. You can check that out in the description. We'll leave a link if you're interested. But the total price for our ceiling was $88.
All right, so the next breakdown is our flooring, which we use just like vinyl flooring planks. They're really easy to put together, and they're waterproof and like hold pretty tight so that no like water can leak down below. And we also below that put 1/4-inch plywood, and we put like a mold spray on top, and then also covered it with Bullseye 123, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's like a mold resistant primer.
After doing a lot of research about flooring, we like heard a bunch of people say that that's like one place that mold can grow pretty easily, so we were pretty we wanted to make sure that we really like covered that. So the grand total of our flooring was $182.
All right, now on to the kitchen area. We kind of spent a lot of money in this section because Emily and I love food a lot and we love to cook. And you know, cooking comfortably in our camper van is one thing that actually saves us a lot of money in the long run. And so we don't have to go out to eat as much, and we can sort of keep enjoying trying new things and making old classics and just eating well while we're on the road. So in the kitchen area, some notable things we have is a Vitrifrigo fridge. It's a 51-liter model, and it runs off our 12-volt DC, so it's pretty efficient and it works pretty well.
And it has a freezer.
Has a freezer. We love ice cream, so we couldn't live without that. So one of our big priorities was getting this fridge. And honestly, we think it's a really good value fridge. It was, I think we got it for like $600.
Something like that.
Which is a really good price. Sometimes like similar models are like going for $1,000. And yeah, having a freezer is nice because we get to have ice and ice cream, and that's nice because our water jugs get pretty warm if it's warm weather out, and so you still get to drink cold water. So then from our sink, we have a nice big deep stainless steel sink, which is great because we can like have plenty of room for dishes, but also occasionally we'll like wash, Emily will wash her hair in the sink.
It's really great.
Or we'll like, you know, you just have more options when it's bigger. And then, so we have our regular faucet that runs on the 12 volt, but we also have filtered water through a Filtrete water filter. And so kind of no matter where we fill up water, we are confident drinking it, that it comes out tasting good, and it's also like safe to drink. And then for our stove, we have the Camp Chef Everest stove, which is a 2-burner, runs on propane. For our water storage, we have 3 portable jugs. They're all 5.5 gallons, and 2 of them are used for fresh drinking water, and 1 of them is our gray water tank, where everything from our sink drains down into that. And then also included in the price of our kitchen stuff is like the whole kitchen counter and like the frame that it's built into. So the grand total for our kitchen is $1,196.
So the next category is our cabinets and our drawers, which basically holds everything we own. We have above our like kitchen area and above our bed, we have like a whole frame of like cabinets, and then kind of part of our kitchen, we also have like cabinetry to hold all our pots and pans and everything. And then we also have a closet that holds more of our clothes. And then actually another drawer under our bed as well. And we use pretty much pine construction lumber for a majority of it, just to keep the cost pretty low, and then we painted white on top of it. And then for the framing of most of the cabinetry, we use poplar, which is basically the cheapest hardwood you can buy. And we also just painted that white. So the grand total of our cabinets and drawers was $464.
All right, so next category is the bedroom. Our bed is made up of 2 layers of basically mattress toppers. One is like a 3-inch charcoal memory activated charcoal memory foam. We like it. It's really soft and it's got like a lot of give. And then underneath that, we just have a 2-inch layer of memory foam that is a much firmer type of foam. So the 2 layers together kind of create like a pretty comfortable 5-inch mattress. And then under that, we have Hypervent, which is just plastic mesh that kind of looks like egg carton, and we installed that because it allows air to flow underneath our bed, because the platform at the bottom is just solid plywood, so it doesn't vent very well. So having a little bit of airflow underneath our mattress is pretty key. Our comforter is a nice down comforter that we repurposed from when we lived in an apartment, when we used to sleep in a king-size bed.
I sewed it much smaller so it'd fit on our full-size bed.
Yeah, now we sleep in the smallest bed ever. But it's still good enough. We fit width-wise sleeping in the van. And then again, underneath the bed is just more pine construction lumber. I kind of built some stilts that go underneath, and then we have the plywood across the top. And so the grand total for our bedroom is $293.
All right, so we wanted a little bit more storage on our roof. We added a cargo box on top. We got a Yakima skybox, which we found on Facebook Marketplace for pretty much a steal. I think we got it for like 160 bucks. And it was like in great condition. And then Jake already had like Thule racks on his old vehicle that we sold beforehand. So we took those off, and then we kind of just had to make our own rack on top. So the grand total for our extra storage on our roof was $208.
All right, so the next category is supplies. This kind of includes all kinds of stuff, but it's mostly like tools, paint, glue, tape, anything that sort of is like needed to do all the kinds of construction. And we benefited in some ways by doing our van conversion at Emily's parents' house, and her dad has all kinds of tools that we used. We did end up buying some of our own tools so that I would have tools to bring with us on the road, which is nice because I've continued to do a little construction and updating and like fixing stuff while we're on the road. But anyway, the full total for our supplies was $393.
And the last category of our van conversion breakdown is the miscellaneous category, which is basically anything that we might have missed along the way. And also like items like our WeBoost cell signal booster, our telescoping ladder, and our Mr. Buddy heater. Those don't really fit into like certain categories. So the total number of our miscellaneous category was 676. And so for the grand total, including our van, for our van conversion, was
$17,714. Woo! So we're super thrilled with how our van turned out. It's probably not the cheapest build ever, but we think it is a really good value. Pretty much less than the price of your average new car, and we have an apartment on wheels that we're totally happy living in. So it's been working great for us. We've been living in the van since July 2019. And yeah, it's been mostly good. A few things fixed up along the way, and not included in this cost. This is kind of like the breakdown from when we finished the van. But along the way, we've like sort of added things here and there. So there are some like hidden costs, but for the most part, this got us on the road for about $17,000.
And included in most of this, we have a ton of blog posts covering like anything electrical, plumbing, how to install like our rustic wood panels, ceiling, floor, tons of stuff. So if you're interested in anything that we've mentioned along this video, check down the links down below. And we also have a Vanlife shop, which includes links to like almost everything we have in this van. So if you found something you really liked, then you can check out our Vanlife shop and find whatever we have put into our van.
And of course, the van tour video, which kind of shows you around the individual things a little bit better, is a good companion video to watch next to this one, just to sort of get a closer look at some of the things we have in here.
But thanks for coming along on this little van conversion breakdown. We, like Jake said before, we're headed down to New Mexico and Texas, so we are going to have some adventure vlogs coming up. So be sure to like and subscribe this video.
And we'll see you out on the road again.